So what's going on, T? What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm doing well, trying to keep cool. How are you?
That's awesome. I'm doing awesome. Definitely trying to keep cool. It's
For
getting
real.
hot and cold at the same time every day.
It is. No, it is.
But I wanted to have you on the show today. I've been listening to some of your podcasts, and guys, Chat with T is an awesome podcast. You got to go check it out. I'm definitely going to make
Awesome.
sure I streamline. I'm going to make sure I streamline you guys in because she's talking about some real stuff. You definitely got to be careful with the type of people you're with, and she definitely deals with those different issues and aspects of dating and relationships. And I think we all can learn something from it. Nobody's too old or too young to learn. And I think the more we open up ourselves to different thoughts and different conversations and
Yes.
ideas, we
Hmm.
really can expand and become greater because we're always greater in number. So I just want to welcome you to the show.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you for taking your time out and being able, from your very busy schedule of podcasting, you out here killing it. You're doing your thing. So proud of you. We're
Thank you.
actually, me and T, we go back from high school, and ever since then, it's just been so cool, a cool experience to see her growth, to see just how everything is transpired in her life from being a
Hmm.
podcaster. How long have you been a podcaster?
I just started this year, actually.
Wow, congratulations. Welcome to the
Thank you.
squad. Welcome to the
Thank you. Thank you.
squad.
Thank you.
I know it's a very exciting journey, especially when you see how many downloads, the streaming,
Hmm.
everything is just, I'm sure it's like mind blowing sometimes.
It is. No, it really is.
And what's the type of feedback that you get when you do these type of podcasts? Because you talk about some pretty hard hitting stuff. Like
Hmm.
you talk about men, you talk about toxic relationships,
Hmm.
you talk about all different types of things that are within relationships that people should look out for. So what is the
Hmm.
type of feedback that you get?
Mostly for being so open and being vulnerable, which is
Right.
something I kind of struggle with, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that has to be talked about. So I'll try to be that voice for the people that are too afraid to speak on those kind of like taboo like topics or subjects. So that's been
Right.
like the most thing, like being open, being very vulnerable, and just sharing my experiences. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's really great. I think that sharing experiences is great because a lot of
Hmm.
times people tend to hit walls when there's a door right next to the wall.
Yes, yes,
It's like
yes.
there's no way to gauge how to position yourself where to go because in life there's no doors and walls. It's just kind of like you're walking through life.
Hmm.
And I think it's very important that we share experiences because it helps the next generation. It helps older people because maybe they haven't been through it yet. Maybe they're
Exactly.
still waiting to go through it. There's a
Hmm.
lot of late bloomers out there, so
It is.
every everybody can learn.
I
So I want
agree.
to get right into our topic, knowing your
Yes.
deal breakers, man. Deal breakers
Hmm.
are a very important part of a relationship. I cannot stress this enough. One thing that I made sure I did, of course, now with my fiance, I
Oh, congrats to
oh, you
you.
didn't know? Thank you.
Mm-mm. But
So
I do now. Congrats, congrats, congrats.
thank you. One thing
Hmm.
that I decided to talk with my fiance is just deal breakers and things that I didn't like. And it wasn't things that were astronomical. One deal breaker that I definitely love to talk about is not just in relationships, but people in general. I don't like when people reiterate things like too
Hmm.
much. Like a reminder is cool when you first initially say it, but when you keep going, it kind of gets like, you kind of losing me. What do you feel
Hmm.
about that?
When someone's kind of like on your back too much about something.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. It could be from a whole bunch of different things. So I'll give you an example of if you say, "Oh, go take out the trash," and because it smells.
Hmm.
You tell me that, and then you say it again. You need to take out that trash, and then the third time, take out that trash, bruh. It just keeps going on over and over again. Now I get it. If
Hmm.
it's been days or something, I get that. But if it's been the streamline of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you're just constantly saying it, it could kind of get annoying.
Okay, I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I guess it depends though.
yeah,
I know for me, I try to do things as soon as someone says it, but if I can't,
that's
I'll let
smart.
them know, like, I can't do that right now, or give me a minute, give me a second, and then I'll go do what I have to do. So I
Right.
know what you mean about that too. Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
annoying. I experienced
Yeah.
that with my mom, so I understand. I
Don't be
totally
getting in
understand.
trouble on here, man. Don't get me in trouble.
I'm not trying to. I'm being real.
No, I feel you. I feel you.
Hmm.
So, the first point that I wanted to discuss with you is before finding someone,
Hmm.
should you know your deal breakers ahead of time?
Yes, but I also feel like when you meet people, you kind of learn more deal breakers about yourself or what you want, if that makes sense. So before
Nice.
you kind of meet and you experience someone, you might realize, oh my God, like they can't communicate. I don't like, or I don't want to be with someone who is bad at communication, or oh my God, like he doesn't get tested often, or something along the
Wow.
lines of that. Like you kind of have some that you had before you get with somebody, but then once you date, it kind of pops up more depending on like what they do and how it goes, if that makes sense.
That's beautiful. That was beautifully put. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely important for you to experience and try and
Mm-hmm.
see what you don't want, because
Mm-hmm.
the important thing is everybody knows what they want, but a lot
That's
of people
true.
don't know what they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And once we find out what we don't want, our wants and don't wants kind of come together and meet that middle passage. Like, all right, we know
Absolutely.
exactly where we're at in this relationship. So yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely important. And you just hit something very key, because that next point is expressing deal breakers. So a lot of times in relationships, it's hard for people to just express and get off their chest. I know a lot of times for men, we're not as emotional as women. And not
Mm-hmm.
to make any riffraff, I don't want no riots coming at my door.
Oh
I'm not
God.
saying that all women are emotional, because men are emotional as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to how a woman is made, I think that you guys are more in touch with your feelings, and you
Mm-hmm.
guys understand and have compassion a little bit more than men. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
we're more of the doers and more of the get stuff done, and
Mm-hmm.
not really worried about emotions and not letting it sway us, because we got to
Yeah.
make sure that the rent is paid. We got to make sure that that is done.
Mm-hmm.
But even with the same thing, women can do the same thing. So my thought process in these times is, we can't look at it as the 1950s of the woman is supposed to cook, clean, do this, that, and the third. The
Yeah.
woman actually is now doing construction. The woman is doing so many different things that I think the world wasn't even ready for. But
Yeah. Seriously.
I
Mm-hmm.
do believe there has to be a medium. Like, we got to
Mm-hmm.
understand each other, where the woman is so much of a expressive and the man is more of a straightforward, do it type of
Mm-hmm.
guy. Everybody's different, but the
Yeah.
most important thing is what's in common is the expression. How can you get across what you're saying? How can you convey
Yes.
what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about that. As far as, you don't have to say experience, you could say experiences. You could talk about why it's important. So if you could discuss on that, that'd be cool.
Communicating with your partner.
Yeah.
Um. Well, communication is very important. I know that I've struggled with that before too, but after a while, I just feel like if you don't speak up on the things that you want or on the things that your relationship is lacking, I don't think that anything is going to get done. Closed mouths don't get fed. I think there's a way
Ooh.
that you have to communicate too. I don't think that you have to be yelling or cursing at the other person. I know that's how some people express themselves, but I just don't think that that's okay. There has to be a way that you are both coming or talking to each other so that you don't get too crazy on the person, if that makes sense.
No, that's perfect. That's
Mm-hmm.
definitely perfect. I think the it's funny because last week I put up a video of a young lady who was talking about that she's both. She's nice and she's mean at the same time. I'm not saying the exact words correctly, but
Mm-hmm.
she talks about how she can't just be nice. She has to be mean and get a little rough and gritty and make sure that people know,
Mm-hmm.
like, you can't mess with me. So
Okay.
when it comes down to that, I think we really got to understand how we're scoping the way we look at things. So the way you said that, you're giving me very, I would say, conservative answers, which are great, because everybody's not the same way. Like, we're not going to
Mm-hmm.
find the same thing in everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from what you're answering, you're looking at both sides. You're not looking
Mm-hmm.
at just, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. You need to
Yeah.
do that. You need to do this.
Uh-huh.
Men don't respond to that. Men
Mm-hmm.
respond to open conversations, open
Yeah.
discussions. We want to know that
Mm-hmm.
you value our opinion and you value us.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So that's dope. That's definitely dope. And communication is key. That's 100% key.
It really is.
Um, it's okay to walk away. Now,
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna let you get this one. You go right ahead. It's okay to walk away if I'm gonna just give you the title of it. It's okay to walk away if the deal breaker is not being, how can I say this? Do you have a word for it? It's okay to walk away if they don't respect your deal breaker. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, yeah, it's okay to walk away if they're not respecting your deal breakers or your boundaries, your concerns, things of that nature. You don't have to stick around because I feel like if someone's not giving you what you want them to give you after you've talked to them, because like I said, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you already spoke on what has happened and they didn't try to make any adjustments, you don't see any like progress, it's definitely okay to walk away. And it might suck at first, but you're doing yourself a huge favor.
A huge favor,
And that's
absolutely.
for men and for women. So
Beautiful. See, that's what I
walk
love the
away.
most about your podcast. I love that so
Mm-hmm.
much because it's not just women beating up on men.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not all men. And I hear this term all the time: men ain't this, men ain't that, men don't do this. You're generalizing a group of people who you haven't even met half of the population yet. Like
Yes. You
you're
gotta take accountability
generalizing your
for
city.
sure. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
So that's pretty much all I have for this show. I really wanted to bring Tamecia on. She has been an amazing, amazing
Yes.
co-host. You
Thank
got to
you
go
for
check her
having
out.
me.
Absolutely, of course, definitely. I've been seeing stuff that you've been doing. I think in life we see what other people do, and we're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yo, if I could connect with them on the same level that we're at, or even
Mm-hmm.
whatever levels that we're at, to be able to connect and be able to grow together, that's what we got to do. We
Yes.
can't.
It
We're
motivates
not
you
going
for
to make it.
sure. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's definitely a motivator. When I see you posting up
Yes.
all this stuff on the stories, I'm like, dang, I
Oh,
gotta get on
yeah.
it. Even when you take your breaks, I know when you're coming back off a break because you
Mm-hmm.
announce it. You're like, yo, I'm
Yes.
back, y'all. Check out the
Mm-hmm.
episode. So it's really dope to have you on here. It's really dope to see you working and doing and
Yes.
moving. Man, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Thank you so very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you, Raymond, for having me.
Absolutely. So, guys, make sure you check her out. Chat with T. The name is at the bottom, and it's also going to be in
Yes.
the comments, so you guys will be able to just grab it, click and
Mhm.
paste. What I did was I just went right to Apple Podcasts because I'm an iPhone user. Don't hate.
Same,
It's all
same. Yep,
good.
yep, yep.
But Google, you have Google Podcasts,
No. I also have Spotify too. It's the only two
Spotify.
that I
Okay.
use. Hmm.
Well, okay, those are two. Okay, great. That's what's up. So you got Spotify and you got Apple Podcasts, people. Get a
Hmm.
subscription. Don't play around. Don't wait. Spotify is everywhere. Apple Music, I mean, Apple Podcasts could be everywhere. I think you can get it on Androids. I think you can. I got
Hmm.
Google Podcasts, so hopefully you can. But
Nice. Okay.
you definitely got to check her out, man. Go to
Hmm.
her Instagram. It's Chat with T, right?
Yes, the CWT podcast. Hmm.
The CWT podcast. Check her out.
Yes.
We really want to blast her out, guys. Thank you so much for coming on this show. Please leave a
Yes.
review or a comment on Facebook and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to subscribe and get a reminder every 7. And join me again. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Peace.
Bye.